Today we're going to take a look at repairing a Yeti microphone that has begun to exhibit some audio issues. These issues can seemingly randomly occur, but is actually due to just the mini USB port at the bottom of these microphones. They are prone to wearing out and becoming loose, allowing the cable to wiggle around in the port and cause issues with communicating to your device, resulting in garbled audio or even no audio at all. All of this voiceover is being done after the repair on my own Yeti mic, so let's get to this. To start off, we will need to completely disassemble the microphone. The process is the same whether you have a standard Yeti mic or the Yeti Pro like this one, as the XLR port does not have any connections or screws that get in the way of disassembly. The first and easiest step is to remove the microphone base, which is done by unscrewing the two side screws. They shouldn't fully come out of the base as they are held in with plastic washers. Simply unscrew them and gently remove the microphone and set the base to the side. When it comes to removing the volume, mute, gain, and pattern buttons and knobs, it's fairly simple. They are just pressed into the microphone. Simply grab a pair of pliers and a napkin and grab the knob and gently pull straight up. The napkin is just used in between the pliers and the knob so you don't mar the surface of the knobs. Once all four knobs are removed, it's time to work on the bottom of the microphone. There are 3 screws that hold the body and the outside case together. Start off by removing the threaded mic holder, and then remove the rubber gasket that's beneath it. Mine's been removed a few times it seems by the previous owner, and has a few holes in it. I just poked it with a screwdriver and was able to pry it out. After that's removed, go ahead and remove the 3 screws. The screw underneath the rubber is longer than the other 2 screws, so keep a note of that. After all 3 screws are removed, you can now slide the cover off of the microphone and expose the internal components. It's inside of here where we can see the culprit of our issues, the mini USB port. If your USB cable wiggles around at all in this port, you will eventually have an issue as your cable won't make a good connection with the port and cause a myriad of issues, such as flat audio, clipping audio regardless of gain settings, large amounts of static, and connectivity issues, amongst many others, I'm sure. For part 1, we're going to do the quick and dirty fix, which is simply using a pair of needle nose pliers to squeeze the USB port on both the sides and the top and bottom slightly to make the port tighter and give us a better connection. This is a very temporary fix, sometimes only lasting 1 or 2 plug-ins of the cable before it fails again. Stay tuned for part 2, where we go over removing the old port and soldering in a new USB port to fix the issue long term. We're now going to go ahead and put the microphone back together and be done with part 1 of this video. I definitely recommend testing the microphone before you reassemble it, just to save yourself the headache if you need to adjust the USB port some more. You can safely plug in the microphone without the shell on it, just hold it on the metal sides and not by the actual circuit board. After you've verified that your microphone works the way you want it to, go ahead and slide the shell back over the microphone. You'll start by screwing in the 3 screws that hold the shell to the body. Make sure the longer screw goes in the middle hole, otherwise you could potentially damage things. After you have the 3 screws in and tightened down, you'll want to go ahead and put your rubber pad back in and screw in the threaded adapter for a microphone stand. Once the plastic adapter is in, you can start to put your knobs and dials back on. The longest one is the volume dial. All of the dials and knobs are keyed, so they will only go back in the same place as they were previously. Just line up the inside shape with the shape on the actual dial of the microphone. Next is the mute button. The longer side goes up and down and just presses onto the mute button. After you flip the microphone over, you have your pattern and gain knobs to slide on. The only thing left is your stand, if you choose to use it. simply lay the microphone into the stand and carefully thread in the 2 side screws, making sure not to cross thread them. That's it for part 1. Stay tuned to the end to hear the difference with the microphone now working properly. I had originally intended to do this as one video, but realized it would be about half an hour long and broke it into 2 parts. So make sure to subscribe to be notified of the next video when it comes out. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. And now after those minor adjustments, we do have a much better working microphone. But let's go ahead and move on to a more permanent fix.